do you realize that literally all it takes is one? A lot of people like to shit on one-hit wonders and stuff like that, especially in music, where people will be like, oh, why can't you come out with consistently good music? And, oh, that person's a one-hit wonder, I don't need to follow up with their career. But probably that one song that they made probably set them up for the rest of their life, right? Like Fetty Wap, you don't know where he is anymore. I'm actually pretty sure he's dropped a few albums since like Trap Queen back in like 2016. I have no clue when he dropped that, 2015, somewhere around there. But he's set for life from that one album, and if you think about it, that's literally all it takes. So even in business with this whole YouTube thing, in business, Bill Gates is essentially a one-hit wonder, right? His one hit was Microsoft, and Steve Jobs, his one hit was Apple. These people, they tried a bunch of different business models or whatever, or they were just working on this one until it eventually hit and it eventually clicked and was adopted by the masses. And this one business idea, this one company that they had, literally set them up for life, and probably their kids and their kids' kids and so on. But literally one is all it takes. So you don't need to have a whole bunch of different kind of successes. Obviously, in the whole financial industry and business, at least for like entrepreneurship and financial freedom, all of that kind of, all those buzzwords, they like to say that you should diversify your income and that you need to have different streams of income. And I do agree with that, because it will give you some sort of security. But all it takes for this whole YouTube thing, anything like for business, all it takes is one idea to blow up. And if you take it to YouTube, right, I can guarantee that if any one of my videos got 1 million views, I would have at least 10,000 subs, because that's like a 2% conversion rate from people who watch my video to people who actually subscribe. And I'd say that's a pretty realistic percentage of conversion, because when I look at some of my other videos that have like a couple hundred views, around 2% is the conversion rate. So, and I'm confident that the quality of the content that I'm putting out will deserve to be seen by people. And if people do see my content, then they'll feel free to subscribe, or they'll appreciate or take some sort of value from it. I would be sure that every single person that watched the entirety of the video out of the 1 million would gain some sort of insight or helpful value that would be beneficial to them in their lives. And that's just because I think that I'm confident in what I'm putting out, and that I'm putting out has value. But that's the whole thing. Even people who sell things that don't have value, not that I'm really selling anything here, but if you're selling a fidget spinner, right, that could be like the shittiest product, but if it pops off and you have like a crazy brand and a whole drop shipping store around it, you could literally make millions of dollars, and that could be your one product that literally sets you up for the rest of your life. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. All it takes is one. So you don't have to worry about trying to be successful in every single avenue of your life, or trying to make money every single possible way that you can. If you just stay consistent with one thing, and not saying to put all your eggs in one basket necessarily, but some people have made it that way, so maybe that is not bad advice. But because a lot of the times I think I have felt failure because I didn't put my all into something, and I didn't put my all into the project or the business venture or something like that, because of the fact that I had backup plans or I had a safety net. But if you remove all of that safety, then I think there's something to be said. Not saying just go screw your life completely over and get into millions of dollars of debt just to try to succeed in this one business. You have to make smart and calculated decisions. But maybe there's something to be said with the idea of burning all your bridges and having victory and success being the only option. So I'm pretty sure that's how like Mr. Beast started his YouTube channel or something like that. I watched an interview of him a while ago, if I remember correctly, and he was saying that, you know, he was going to a community college or something like that. His parents were paying, but he just never went to the classes, and he would just spend his time making videos in his car or something like that. And so since he wasn't going to his classes and, you know, his parents were paying for it, and he just was not going, and he was going to get some letters in the mail saying, hey, this guy hasn't been coming to classes, he's been failing out of all of his courses, his only option was for success, essentially. So there are instances where, I'm not saying you have to go entirely to that extreme, but there are instances, and there is something to be said, I think, for burning all your bridges and leaving the only option to be success. But all it takes is one. All you need, if you're putting out something valuable into the world, if you're on this whole YouTube thing, if you're an aspiring artist or you're a rapper or something like that, all it takes is one song to blow up. All it takes is one video to blow up. All it takes is one business idea to take off. And, you know, if what you're providing actually has value, your success will soon follow. So that's kind of the message I wanted to preach today. A word of inspiration, because it can often be tough and challenging, especially in these like unsecure ventures where you're trying to do things on your own term rather than, you know, like going to a job and getting paid by somebody else. You're trying to make something happen on your own, and there's a lot of discouragement that comes with that because you don't always get to see the fruits of your labor. And especially if you're putting in a lot of labor, I know where you're coming from. But as long as you keep sticking to the grind and, you know, keep providing value to other people, eventually, if you hit one, you know, that's all it takes. So that's going to be the video for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And remember to stay on target.